We're joined now by Husker Online, Sean Callahan. Sean, good morning. We learned this week on Monday from Matt Rule that 3 offensive linemen will be out this week. Turner Corcoran, Ethan Piper, Nuruddin Nouili out for this game against Purdue. 2 of them out for the season. Nouili out for 1 to 2 weeks. I'm curious, knowing that Nebraska's had issues moving the football and scoring, what kind of game plan do you expect to see from Nebraska on Saturday against Purdue?
Well, probably not much different than what we've seen before. I mean, I think the key is finding the right opportunities and taking advantage of them, whether it's field position related or, big plays like they drew up for Malachi Coleman. I mean, you just have to pick your spots, see how they're going to defend Harburg's running. Northwestern had a much different approach than, say, Illinois the week before. I mean, according to the PFF numbers, Northwestern only blitzed him twice, where the week before Illinois brought 5 at him a lot. So teams defend Harburg a little bit different each week too. So there's always some challenges to kind of figure out what will be the attack. I would imagine Illinois will be, Purdue will be pretty aggressive. Ryan Walters, a year ago was very aggressive against Nebraska's front, and with 3 new offensive linemen out there for the Huskers, I'm sure he's going to try to test those guys early.
How close would you have been to pulling Heinrich on Saturday?
I think before that long drive he had before halftime, if they didn't have that drive, you just wonder, don't you? I mean, you wonder if that discussion was happening at that point, because that was the only sustained drive of length they had the entire game, one before halftime. Their average drive length over the entire game, all drives combined, was 4 plays. That was a 10-play drive. So they still never really had a rhythm rolling as an offense other than that one drive. So, if the turnovers struggled, the 3-and-outs continued, you just wondered. But again, they're awfully limited at the receiver position. It's not like they have a lot of guys running free. When teams are dropping into coverage with 7 or 8, the windows are extremely tight as well for a guy like Harburg.
You're down now Billy Kemp for a while at receiver also. We saw Malachi Coleman, the nice touchdown that helped get to 17 points and kind of clinch that win for Nebraska. Speaking of him, Sean, can he get defenses to somewhat respect the deep ball throughout the game at all going forward?
Well, he's got the speed. I mean, Jalen Lloyd and him, both are 10-4 guys, so that they're going to be able to run past people. It's just, can they get free like that, off the line of scrimmage to run? And can Harburg hit the pass like he did Saturday? I mean, that's the challenge. That's really the first deep ball they've hit all year, where they've hit a guy in stride, for kind of a Trey Palmer type touchdown that we saw a lot last year. So that hopefully that this has opened up something for a guy like Malachi.
Switching over to the defense, is this the best defense in the Big Ten West?
I think it's real debatable. I think there's a lot of really good defenses. I think Wisconsin's still a really good defense. Iowa obviously is a great defense. Illinois in their front is really good, but their back is not as good with those guys they lost the draft. But Illinois' front is as good as anybody's. So I think there's a lot of things. And Minnesota had a really good secondary in some pieces, but it's definitely in the conversation as one of the top 2 or 3. And I think each one of those top 2 or 3 has something that jumps out, but Nebraska's really consistent with the back end, the pass rush, the linebacker depth. I mean, they have a lot of different things at all 3 levels with Nash Hutmacher and Ty Robinson and Jamari Butler and some of these guys. They're playing really well on the line of scrimmage.
Speaking of Nash, I think people thought he could have a better year than last year, but he had 2.5 sacks on Saturday against Northwestern. He's been a force on the defensive line. How surprised you to see how well he's been this entire season, Sean?
Yeah, just how he's moving. I mean, in his conditioning level, he just never was a guy that would play that many snaps. And now he's able to give you 40-plus snaps a game. Before he was probably more like 20 snaps a game. He's just giving Nebraska much more quality looks and reps, and his leadership, his presence. I mean, this 3-3-5, I think without him, it'd be a totally different looking unit, because he eats up so much on the line of scrimmage that everyone behind him benefits off what he can do up front there. And you really need that kind of player in this defense.
What's your read on what's happening at running back right now? Is it Emmett Johnson? Is it his job now?
You hate to say it's for sure his job, but I mean, he's the guy right now. I mean, Anthony Grant, I think we were all surprised. I mean, Emmett Johnson took 33 reps. Anthony Grant took 11, and the other guy, Joshua Fleeks, took 11. So he had 66 or 60% of the running back reps in that game for Nebraska, where at Illinois, Anthony Grant, had 75, 80% of the reps. So it's gone week to week, but Emmett Johnson definitely had a good game. He ran well, had some moments. So you'd think he's probably the guy again this week.
Regarding the upcoming game, Sean, against Purdue, Sip said last segment he might consider retiring if Nebraska put up 31 points in this ball game.
I never said that. Bill mentioned that.
Well, you said you might consider that. If they scored 31 points, would you be as shocked as us in this game, Sean?
Well, Sip hasn't funded his on-3 pension enough to step away quite yet.
Yeah,
right?
I have not.
I would be shocked. I mean, I would be shocked right now, guys, if any team in the Big Ten West scored 31 points in a given week. It happens, but it's really difficult with the way the defenses are playing.
Sean, always good stuff. Thank you for the time. We will chat with you again next week.